Without further ado, we're starting our first semifinal. We had 2 streaks broken today, Remo. First one was Starshaped, who is for the first time not in the Final Four. And you know what other streak is crushed as well?
Tell me.
So far, we had 2 grand finals with pure Russian participation. That is not possible here. Of course, in the second semifinal, we have Happy versus Hitman, where one Russian could still make it. But in the second semi, there's a Ukrainian and another Canadian. For the second time in 3 cups, we have Canada in the Final Four. This time not Kibikaki, but Insuperable. So, what can he do against one of Europe's finest? What can he do against Foggy?
Yeah, one of Europe's finest versus one of America's finest. Insuperable has been streaming for a long time and has always been a really good player over in NA. But as far as the bigger tournaments go, we haven't seen too much of him. Last Ryzing Star, I think he played, right? I'm pretty sure he did, but didn't get too far. But he absolutely has the talent. Another one of those tier 2, tier 3 undeads in the Western scene who all aspire to one day be as good as Happy. He's going up now against Foggy, who must be considered the favorite here. Foggy, one of the most successful European players of all time. However, most recently, he seemed to have fallen off a little bit. I guess if we want to take it more closely into view, then the last couple of months were better. But, you know, we are used to seeing Foggy in the WGL late rounds, and it feels like it's been forever since that was the case.
That's true, but imagine Foggy being in Hawk's group. I am pretty sure he would have won that group. And
I mean, Group A was a good meme. Was a good meme.
Maybe even in Group D, he would have made it. He played very good in his Group B, which was one of the 2 group of death. Got some surprising wins. Still not enough to surpass Lin and TH, which is absolutely no shame. So maybe we underestimate Foggy a little. Yes, last week he was eliminated rather early, but today he's showing up strong so far. Demon Hunter for him, and the upper right-hand side, Insup going for DK and Gould so far.
Foggy has had for the last couple of weeks a very specific and seemingly very strong build on LR against Undead. Some guys of you may remember he had this insane, ridiculously bonkers game against Happy, where Happy came back with like a 30 supply deficit.
Yep.
But normally, oftentimes he beats Undeads here, you know, just if it's not Happy. And the way he plays it is Demon Hunter and a bit of creeping first, and normally not with denying one of the creeps.
Yep.
But here he did, which is really not good.
Nope.
But, well. Anyways, a lot of archers involved, tier 2 Naga, and then Hippo Rider transition. And of course, because it's Foggy with an expansion in the back, and also because it's Hippo Riders, you really do need the expansion. And the nice thing is, it's pretty easily protected on LR, easy to see run-bys coming, easy to creep and protect it at the same time. So I wonder, is that the style that Foggy still plays? He was playing that for a long time. Does he still play that? And if he does, is Insup familiar with that style?
Well, he watches a lot of our streams, and I guess a lot of streams in general. He should be familiar with everything that Foggy does. Nice block, by the way, to prevent the Demon Hunter from joining in early, but there's still mana for the call despite the mana burn, and that's the kill for Insup. That's level 2, and that's also an archer kill, and maybe even a Demon Hunter surround. Great start for the Canadians so far.
That's a ton of ghouls right here. That's 6 ghouls brought out really early, and now a block from the skeleton as well. Insup always really good with those blocks and surrounds. Dude, and he gets the surround as well!
What is going on? Completely out of control.
Dude,
is
that looked like a Happy play. What the hell?
And he has a reju potion. Like, the DK is at 50%, alright. But he will be back up at 60% and has mana for coils.
Yeah, and if you were thinking about early expanding, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
No way. Foggy with a Huntfall. He's stealing the expansion creep.
A little sloppy here by Foggy, not respecting the end snare possibility. You should always remember the trapper when you run into range and stuff like that. And then was surprised by the ghoul numbers. Like, normally it's not 6 ghouls out so early, but Insuperable did bring them. When you look towards the other greats, like Happy, he normally nowadays plays very, very few ghouls only, and is much more creep-focused rather than kill attempt-focused. So Insup catches Foggy by surprise.
He's trying to get in front for another surround because there's no TP anymore. Foggy goes for his signature item, that's the staff. Baiting more surrounds, baiting more time. DK close to level 3. Stealing a lot. He got it again, right? Yep.
Dude, Insup is so good with these.
That
the staff saves him.
That's a lot of moon juice as well.
Yeah. And a 90-second cooldown, not to forget. It's a rather long one. This Demon Hunter still being only level 1, by the way, is such a problem.
Yeah.
Such a big problem. Foggy, always with his level 1 or level 2 aggression.
Speaking of aggression, Naga. And if it was possible for Insuperable to surround this DK twice before with this block, oh my god!
Oh my god!
Are you nuts? This is so goddamn sick! Insuperable gets a kill.
That block was ridiculous. That was like Chimiko block.
Out of Warcraft, I know exactly what you put into the highlight reel for Cup 3.
Dude, Insup, calm down, man.
Foggy is getting annihilated on map 1.
Yeah, fortunately for Foggy, Insup didn't bring a dust. But that's like the only mistake so far. Jesus Christ.
Okay, now the question is, will Insuperable do the typical mistake of a Rising Star player to overcommit and give the game away?
If he gets the next round here on the Naga, which could be very doable. He's got the movement speed advantage. But perhaps she gets away. The Demon, of course, is quickly to return as well, having been only level 1. Dude, Foggy is expanding. That is super risky. Perhaps he feels he needs to try something like that. Another surround on the Naga, almost.
Gotta be careful with his own Naga. I wonder how he gets her out of there. Naga on Naga action. Both hit the ground. But that's alright. No, 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 no.
He can fight out though.
Yeah.
He's got the arch number. It's a pretty good show-off play though. He's like, yeah, bro, I'm pretty good at surrounding.
Yep. Fiend comes in, blocks his own ghoul a little, but of course he gets the saving block with the Fiend. Wow.
Some pretty sick plays here by Insup, man. Really impressive. And I don't think Foggy was expecting this level of play, man.
No, absolutely. He was underestimating him. Definitely.
DK coming in with the harass. He's got a coil ready. This should be one archer kill. Oh, on the Demon. Okay.
I think he denied another creep with the Ancient.
Oh, and this creep drag is so good. Like, Foggy can't deal with this camp and an enemy at the same time.
Yeah.
He doesn't have enough stuff.
It's a lot of damage on this Ancient. Fiends are coming in. Ensnare on the ghouls this time.
Oh,
Oh
the
my gosh! He kills him again!
What the hell?
I can't believe my eyes, man. I just can't. Am I dreaming?
The Naga at least gets away, but another archer falls.
And the rock golem's so easy to take out now. Or he just goes to the expansion and cancels it.
They can just cancel the entangling here until the Lich arrives, the statues and stuff. Wow. Alright, this insane level of pressure comes at a bit of a cost, I guess. Macro was slightly slipping for Insup, only now going for the Lich, but we're definitely gonna forgive that in this game where he's been looking so insane.
Players' forces are under attack.
Okay. Transition to Fiends also. We still have some ghouls. Can Foggy re-engage? He's creeping instead. Taking more damage on the Naga. That's definitely a kill tree.
He steals the last one. LOL!
Okay.
With the Naga. Jesus Christ, this is definitely the best I've ever seen Insup in a tournament.
Yep. By far. Like, Foggy is by no means bad against Undead. He fails against Happy, of course. But in general,
A player's
he's a
forces
pretty
are
good
under
Night
attack.
First Undead player. And here
Yeah.
comes this kid from Canada and buries him.
Yeah. Like, Foggy is a... sorry. Insup is a better Punisher than that shitty Netflix series that is running. He is absolutely giving no space to Foggy at all this game. It's pretty insane. And now the Lich is coming, the Orb is coming, Ghoul Frenzy is finished.
And Insuperable is not overcommitting throughout this entire game. He's not trying to storm Foggy's base in the mid-game or something. He's waiting patiently until he has his power-ups. Demon Hunter level 2.5.
Player's forces are under attack.
But yeah, as you pointed out earlier, like, we've had these standout young gun players before, and like, how do you close this game out? Well, how do you actually win in the end?
Killing heroes was a good try so far. This one pops the first potion. He's just right-clicking on this Demon Hunter, okay? But there is a stab. Oh!
Good night.
What? What's that?
That was really good. That was very, very good. I guess what we have to say is this was an American host, but this was still insanely good.
Bidou is here in all caps. Best game you've ever played your entire life, my dude. Oh my god, I'm so effing hyped. That was so sick.
That was pretty insane, dude.
Foggy
Insup
looked
just-
like a noob in this game.
Yeah, Insup just... A lot of people just gained respect for Insuperable. And Foggy is definitely among them.
There was the American host though. Now is the European host. Let's see if he can pull off these great blocks and surrounds when he's not playing on US East.
AZ, the go-to map for Foggy, oftentimes, is hopefully not gonna go for more Ancient of War Denies. Should be a way better start for the Demon Hunter early on, or the Keeper, or whatever hero it should be, but most likely Demon. But I feel like LR is one of Foggy's better maps. Losing that one is not good.
Yeah. If it goes to game 3, then of course it would be Insuperable's choice.
So we're about ready to start this Insuperable now with a 100 ping, 120 against Foggy's 40. Insup in the final. That would be pretty cool. Certainly first time we see him in a cup this big, I guess. I mean, he's been playing in some smaller American cups, and there has, I believe, made it quite far in the past. But stepping onto European soil, pretty much, and looking this good against one of Europe's greatest, that must feel good for him as well.
Yeah.
He knows how well he played that first game.
Absolutely. That is a big confidence boost to the Canadian, who is spawning in the bottom left with a 1-0 lead against Foggy, who was kind of like in the absence of Hawk to be expected to be in the grand final against Happy, but maybe we're gonna have our first Undead Mirror if Happy defeats Hitman later on, which will be our second summon. So, Insup for Root and Canada in the bottom left, Foggy in the upper right.
Very much so, the same openings as on map 1. We have Insup with the ghouls And Foggy with the normal Ultra Ancient of War creep. And what has to be Demon Hunter.
Yeah, I agree.
If he feels like he can pull a swift one on Insup, he's gonna go Warden here, but you shouldn't really do that against good players.
Keeper.
Keeper? What?
Okay. I'm not too sure if that's the right idea.
If perhaps he's reading Insup and trying to counter him, maybe he feels Insup likes to look aggressively for kills, kind of Sonic style.
Yeah, and then you
with
have
ghouls.
a stop sign with Entangle.
Yeah. So against ghoul aggression, Keeper is of course the greatest. But late game is where the hero has massive downsides. Interesting choice. Kind of a gamble by Foggy. Foggy is pretty much with this opening saying, okay, I have to get ahead really, really far this game, early on. Or maybe not really far, but certainly a decent amount. To have a good chance of winning this.
So for Foggy to have a better start, you should not delay one of the creeps as he did on last Refuge. Getting close. Still playing with
What was
fire.
that, 5 HP or something?
Yeah, it's like it.
Players
But okay, this time everything goes according to plan. Level 2 unlocked immediately. Claws of attack as well. Thank you, by the way, to Hauni for the 8-month resub. Thanks for the content. Thanks for watching. And Eroberer Bizeps for 13 months of resubbing.
Insup here with his own lightning shield. Creep doing it well, not denying anything. Ring for him, not what he wanted, but good experience at the very least. And a quick tech as well as it seems. And yeah, it is the heavy ghoul play. Heavy, heavy, heavy ghouls. I'm not sure if you saw the Keeper yet. Oh, was there an Acolyte Scout in the first game, by the way?
Oh, I don't know.
Because you can absolutely fit an Acolyte Scout into this ghoul build, but some undeads don't do it to save a bit of resources. And if Foggy, for that reason, goes for the Keeper, knowing it won't be scouted for a long time, that would be pretty damn smart.
Insup steals one of the creeps here. But that was the last coil. Yeah, maybe he coiled very aggressively because he thought there's a Demon Hunter anyway and he will be burned. So now for this fight, there's no coil left. Detonate hits hard. But 2 ghouls arriving. First one down to the Entangle. Nice splits by Foggy as well.
Yeah, and ready with the Wisps also. One archer over here might be falling to the ghouls, but a Keeper, if he follows, can absolutely kill one more ghoul over there as well. And there we go, and that's level 3, really early for the Keeper, which in 1.30 we learned is not what you want to give away early in the game.
And that's of course a little bit more mana, that's of course one more Entangle, and that definitely looks like one more kill for Foggy. He brushed this defeat on Last Refuge off like it's nothing.
Yeah. And maybe this really was intentional. Maybe he really was, okay, you don't Acolyte Scout, this Keeper is going to catch you by surprise, you're going to be way over-aggressive with the ghouls, and I'm going to get a lead in the early game. And if that all happened like that, that's really smart, actually. And now the expansion is coming, and with the ghoul numbers as diminished as they are already, it's really hard to attack that anymore. Even the single archer scout in the middle to look at where the DK is going is also such a cool touch.
And he's threatening a detonate against the skeletons, with that preventing this Taskmaster creep for a little. Another kill for Foggy. He has to invest the coil. That means he can't save the ghouls. That's a double kill. It was a stomp in game 1, but we have a stomp in game 2 as well.
Yeah, Foggy's playing an insane early game here. Monochrome, thank you very much for the 25-month resub. Cool story. Bob, he says, and Torch Thief, thank you for the 3 months. Another ghoul died. I haven't been keeping count, but it was a lot of ghouls dying this game.
I think 6. Kind of looks like 6. Alright, we continue creeping for the level 3 DK. He got the Taskmaster in the end. Just one tunneler left. Foggy then.
A player's forces are under attack.
Is at tier 2, building more archers and an expansion. No entrance of wind yet.
And there we go. That's level 2 Entangle early in the game, guys. Many of us still very much remember, but it's easy to sometimes slip and forget how strong this can be ever since we reached 1.31. And the ghoul kill. So many ghoul kills, man.
He wants to surround the keeper, but Acid Bomb is just way too good at that. No Naga this time, as he's waiting for a lich. Ooh, almost well done. This is just too much damage. The archers arrive. He can fight out of everything right now.
Even if he forces the TP here, which he won't because there's a staff. It's okay. Like, this is so many ghoul kills. Foggy can easily afford to lose some things of his own. Oh my goodness.
Good saves on the archers as well. He's giving Insup nothing.
Yeah. Back with a vengeance.
Yeah. We have the double wins now, as well as the shop. Nature's Blessing coming. Expo is eating his way through. So Foggy is taking a step back to establish that second gold mine, getting his air army ready. And we have not a single fiend on the battlefield against the mass air.
It looks like Insup is just way more comfortable with the old meta, you know, Demon, Archer, Naga stuff, where he can utilize his ghouls and his great surround skills. Yeah. But against Keeper, that just doesn't work.
We have one
He's trying his
Nova.
best here, coming in with a Nova, trying for a Creepjack. He's gonna get one Archer at least, but again, that costs 2 ghouls. First Hippogriff is coming in, could be saving one of these Archers. Nicely done.
And constantly entangle against the DK to just stop this attack. He walks it off, but now what about the Lich? Can't reach for an entangle.
Two Archers were killed by the skeleton in the back. Foggy wasn't quite paying attention there. He's concerned with the Tree of Life, which of course he's not allowed to lose. So Insup is finding a nice little window with only the 2 heroes, but now is extremely hurt.
How are these creeps already attacking the tree, by the way?
And once he's at a certain point in the forest, they aggro.
Okay. That's quite some damage. But also level 2 for the Alchemist. And Expo will be established. Insup needs time. A lot of time.
But it's always a dangerous thing to go for when your opponent has an expansion, which now starts entangling. So in 1 minute, the double income is going to start kicking in. What Foggy needs now is a little bit more creeping and level ups, perhaps. Level 4 Keeper and level 3 Alchemist. Those are the key level ups you want. And also with Mass Air, you're really not comfortable fighting with low supply. You need like at least 55, more like 65 supply. Because the damage of Hippo Riders is still rather low.
No upgrades, no Hunter Soul. Fairy Dragons coming. But nice aggression by Foggy now. Buying some time for his Expo to work. Forcing some nukes. Ooh. Using the big mana here. He missed the coil, didn't he? Yep. Oh, that's big.
This is dangerous play by Foggy. He doesn't know where Destroyer form is at. He doesn't know where Web is at. We do. It's not quite finished yet. We know that, but Foggy has no real way of knowing this. So this is a big risk, honestly, by Foggy. That is working out so far. Takes out one Fiend and is going for the next. And okay, Insup calls for the GG. Foggy not punished here for his possible over-aggression. That's the 1-1 in, yeah, the next stomp, going the other way.
Back to the lobby, indeed. 1-1 now. Foggy strikes back. But now I'm really curious. Like, now it's Insup's map again. Does he have a solution against the Keeper? Will he scout a little better this time? He was pretty much walking into the Keeper meat grinder from minute 2.5 on.
Yeah. AZ is like the best Keeper map, though. It's all about that level 3. We saw how that level 3 changed everything in that game.
Yeah.
And AZ is the easiest map for the Keeper to reach that level. There's other good ones as well, like Northern Isles, for example. But we'll see whether next game is going to take place on what map and on what host. How are they going to decide which host now, I wonder?
Good question. We'll see. The admins have this in control. We trust our newly formed Rising Star admin team. Okay, so game will be up in a bit. It's going to be Northern Isles.
Yeah, and now the whole situation is being discussed. Good thing that we're not the admins.
Yep. We have a couple of more subs. Thank you, Torch Thief, for the 3 month, and the Font 77 for the 2 month resub. Loving these Saturday tournaments. Thanks for the stream. Our pleasure. $2,500 viewers here. Nice to see that.
Seems like admins are debating here. And we're going to have the decision coming in soon.
Thank you, Duck79, for another Prime sub here. Okay, game is up.
And we are back on the American host, which is going to be much more comfortable for Insup to play on and not so much for Foggy.
Yeah, I wonder how good this really is. I don't know. Foggy so far not joining the game. So let's see.
Hopefully he's not boycotting the host. That would make things a little bit complicated. But no, Foggy's here. Has been playing on NetEase as well before for tournaments, which is a similar situation. Of course, not the greatest ping, but something that sometimes you have to work around. Alright, Foggy not exactly very happy with the situation, but is gonna play. Even on a bad ping.
Yeah, since it's a European tournament. Like, this is... yeah. Like, this is a 180 ping difference.
Yep, it is a rough one.
We have the next donation of the day. Thank you, Dafons, for the 10 euros. That is much appreciated, of course. So, what does the rules really say? Okay. Games will be hosted on the host location according to the tournament's region. Exception to this rule would be if there's an acceptable midpoint host, which is apparently not the case.
Unless we can find a Greenland host, maybe? But that's not so easy.
It's not how it works, right? Because it hosts on the Blizzard server that is closest to the host.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so yeah, we go according to the rules, which is the EU host, which is the way more fair solution. I think like 30 versus 220. That's really not how one can play.
Yeah. So it's basically a 100 ping difference versus a 200 ping difference. So the math checks out. Thank you very much, Taxes, with a 5-month resub. So, is someone hosting or what?
I think Xander is.
Okay.
Okay, Nash is.
Alright, sorry for the wait here, guys. But there was a solid point by Foggy that the ping was pretty unfair.
Yeah, I think so too.
So now we're back on the European host.
Insup with a ping around 100, Foggy at 50, that's totally fine.
Yeah. Much fairer. Even better than earlier, so it's only like a 50 ping difference. Alright
then.
Ready to go.
Yeah, let's decide the semifinal. It's time! Insup, can he upset the world and be the first non-EU region player to make it into the final? He needs one more map, otherwise we're gonna have Foggy there representing the Ukraine.
Map
2
3.
stomps so far.
And now for the decider, we go to Northern Isles. And of course, maps, always a big determining factor in RTSs, especially for the early games, for how you set up your build to move on to the mid game, and also very, very important for first heroes. Foggy tried with the demon, and it was pretty much disassembled by his opponent.
Yeah.
And then went for a keeper, which seemed to come in as a surprise, and reversed the stomp the other way. So Insuperable. Is he gonna send out a scout this time? It doesn't look like he is.
No.
That surprises me. Like, Northern Isles is a pretty good keeper map. And the fact that he's not looking for the first hero early on.
Either he feels that he knows now and Foggy will stick to the keeper. Or, I don't know, it just doesn't work out with his build order.
It is, of course, 75 gold that you lose if you go for an 6 Acolyte, but it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much gold. And it is the keeper, indeed. By Foggy once again.
Okay, we will see how good is Insup at adapting to challenges. The challenge that Foggy threw at him in game 2. Foggy is the one scouting with the Wisp.
A player's forces are under attack.
Okay, it's gonna be interesting.
Do we know who did which vetoes? We don't, right?
No.
Because, like, when you have 2 vetoes, this could be considered one of the maps you rather want to veto as undead. But maybe rather Echo Isles. So, Keeper, what's he finding early on? Invul Pot. Not very useful in the early game, but later on certainly can be. And Insup starting off with his own creeping at this very same camp at the Tuskars. With 3 ghouls early, so that means the tech isn't gonna be too fast. Oh, and Insup, is he intentionally going only 5 ghouls? It looks like he is. Okay, that's pretty cool. So Insup stays at 5 ghouls only, then techs. So it looks like he's absolutely 100% expecting the keeper.
Yeah. And he's right with that. Like, in game 2, he was a little wrong. But here, seems like he has it down and will go into earlier fiends then, I guess. And this gives Foggy a lot of the middle though, but Insup knows then there's no mana burn. Maybe he can snipe a little more, but so far both focusing on their own progress.
And I kind of was expecting Insup to go aggressively now with level 2 across the map. Again, if it is Keeper, which it looks like he's expecting, as we said earlier, you don't want to give him level 3 for free, and this is why this is a good Keeper map. We start off, or you start off first with the Tuskar camp, that's level 2 right away, and then green, 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 so 3 green camps is exactly level 3. And the Keeper's like, great, you're leaving me alone, I don't have to worry about coils coming in, stealing my last hits, I'm just moving from camp to camp. And Insup is letting it happen. With the trade-off, of course, that he's also leveling himself. But obviously he's not creeping as fast as the Night Elf is. Scout now should have confirmed with a skeleton that it is in fact the Keeper. But yeah, level 2 coil is of course strong, definitely. But level 2 entangle is like game-changing, depending on when you find it, or when you get it.
And that's an easy one for Foggy right here. Keeper can be a little more aggressive now. Insup going for the natural. There is a graveyard, no second crypt for everyone who was hoping for Gargs. Not happening.
Interesting play by Insup. Like, completely
Forces are under attack.
unhappy-esque, who plays hyper-aggressive against Night Elf, especially when a Keeper is involved. But just creeping himself, and did get level 3, and that is very nice. But Foggy has like the most stress-free early game ever.
Yeah, I don't... Like, maybe Insup's opinion is, I don't care what you do in your early game, because I will destroy you late with your mass air tactic.
And he didn't make more ghouls. So he went to 5 ghouls, stopped with the ghouls, went for the tech, and I thought then was going to transition into fiends. But no, he made more ghouls.
Yeah.
And...
That's gonna be fodder for the Keeper. He's just running right into it.
And the Alchemist. Yeah, and that's because Keeper has level 2 entangled. That's the easiest kills ever.
He has to retreat. He has to give Foggy the mid. He can't fight this with the minus armor damage over time. 2 entangles running. Most likely 2 kills. Oh, another one. That's a lot of mana for Foggy, of course.
Oh, yes, it bombs though.
Not splitting against it. Ouch, this hurts.
This is gonna be a 4 ghoul for 1 archer trade.
Yeah.
It's not good.
A player's forces
And again,
are
this
under
is what
attack.
happens when you give Keeper level 3 for free.
Another one
Insup is
dead.
trying to counter expand. which generally I'm a fan of, but like you need some strength to back up your counter expo. And I don't see Insup's strength anywhere.
DK receiving another entangle. Frog is blocking him now. Oh! Acid bomb shouldn't be enough to take him down. But this is so much damage. Lich arriving only now. How is he supposed to stop this Tree of Life anymore?
A town is under siege.
Once again, 2 skeletons chase into the main, killing 2 archers there.
Okay.
Something that sometimes happens to Foggy, losing overview, not on top of the multitasking. In the middle now, the Lich looking for his own kills. And a nice Shadow Melt though by Foggy.
Everything is so hurt again. Like, he needs these ghouls for the late game, doesn't he? He's just giving them away for free.
If he donates 10 ghouls and with that
Wait a minute.
gets up a safe expansion, maybe that's okay.
He's playing Gargs on 1 crypt.
Yeah.
How
That
is
wasn't built for a while.
Yeah, but like TBC.
And WFZ once or twice, I think.
So how do we like TBC and WFZ's builds usually?
Well, you know,
Huh?
they're not bad. Not bad players. But yeah, it doesn't seem like a perfect build, but you know, as long as you get the expo up, I think it's okay to sacrifice so many ghouls. Calling over again, another archer killed. And the good thing about the Garg is you don't have to worry about the level 2 entangle.
Well, that is absolutely correct. He can play a little more aggressive than he would have with Fiends.
But archer numbers are good, and with proper micro, Foggy here is getting a few more kills. And that's level 4. That's a really fast level 4 on the Keeper.
Now Hippo Riders are up. Hippo Riders, of course, not really the answer. Or shouldn't be in a fight with the Gargs. Foggy still picks them up, losing more archers. Poison Ivy now, though. Well, I don't think that's a TP. There's no entangle.
Yeah. And Foggy's completely out of mana. The Moon Juice is still looking okay, but it's the last bit of his juice. Foggy loves blasting through his Moon Juice like crazy. There we go. Staff bag once again, making use of these Moon Wells. And that's it. That's the last Moon Juice. Nothing else. And there is a shop. So at least he has that. So now he has to go for the Moonstone. But Foggy still hasn't seen the expo. Maybe he expects it, but he hasn't seen it yet.
We get the double crypt, and this could work for Insup. I was very, very critical of his early, but it somehow works out. Heal scroll, nice. Scroll the beast, nice.
A player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, it was like trading ghouls and forcing mana to be wasted on ghouls.
Yeah.
Wasted in quotes to get the expansion safely up.
Yeah.
It's a really sacrificial strategy, but it's kind of working out. Wisp has finally scouted the expansion, by the way. But there's one Nerup tower up already, and one Nerup tower is like ridiculously powerful in the early mid-game stages.
Oh, True Shot Aura is nice though for Foggy. Shouldn't get in range of the Hippo Riders, but his movement is so far nice.
A player's forces are under
Alchemist
attack.
is not level 3, and it's more time for this expansion. Treants, okay. And double crypt Gargs is coming now.
The problem for Insup is he never had the time to remake these ghouls, so he's super low lumber, so he can't really make more towers. He would love to have 2 spirit towers at the expo, would make that much more fortified and really hard to crack, but he simply didn't have the lumber. So now he has to deal with this just with the Gargs, which are already hurt.
He has a heal scroll, but do you want to use it for 4 Gargs? Apparently you have to. He's also fighting against the skeletons who have anti-air scroll the beast. He's investing all the items and a lot of mana. Will this work out? Can he get air superiority? And even if he does, how does he deal with the charges on the ground? Uh-oh, Lich
Attack
in
on the
trouble!
Lich.
TP! Not in time though. Lich dies level 2. This is not looking good for the Canadian, who had such a marvelous start into this series.
Looked like a cool strat here by Insup, but the counter expo. Foggy finds the time to strike before the undead forces or defenses are too strong. And it's GG.
Foggy is in the grand final. The first non-Russian to make it. Also the first Night Elf to make it. After 2 humans from Russia saw themselves against Happy in Hawk and Johnny Cage. Canada was once again stopped in the semifinal, but Insuperable made a very cool impression in game number 1 and throughout the entire tournament. Nice to see a second Canadian in the round of 4 of the Ryzing Star Cup. After Kiwikaki, we also have Insuperable now.
Yeah, it was so close. That first game, though, we have to keep that in mind. Like, that's how good Insuperable can play, you know? So he has absolutely really big potential. And in the coming edition, next edition, perhaps he's going to show that again.
Yeah. Thank you, Rasper, for 2 times 100 bits. Cheers! And Herza for the sub. So, we go into our semi-final number 2. That's going to be Happy versus Hitman. Quite some hype about that, but first we give the word to our sponsor AMD, who sponsor the Ryzing Star Cups. If you need a new CPU or a graphic card, give their homepage a try. It's amd.com, and here is some inspiration. See you in a bit.